Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about Quant Network, aka QNT. So let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So today we're actually going to be explaining Quant Network and really kind of talking about why I believe that QNT is going to be extremely highly valuable. This is most likely going to be more valuable than Bitcoin in the future if the application does stand strong, which we will talk about that in this video. But let's start off with this joke of a tweet that I posted because I constantly get these comments on almost every single one of my QNT videos to date, even though I have explained this 100 million times. So I'm making this video as a historical snapshot so that I could share this video with anybody who does comment this going forward. And basically I said, bro, why is everyone talking about this QNT thing? Everyone realizes it is useless, right? It's an ERC20 token. This is crypto's biggest Ponzi. Now, let's actually talk about this real quick. So is QNT an ERC20 token? 100%. It is, but it is blockchain agnostic. Now, for most people, you probably understand what that means, but for those that don't understand what this means, it basically means that QNT does not belong to the Ethereum chain. It is easily diversifiable from one chain to another. It can move from, we'll say, Ethereum over to the XRP ledger, or the XRP ledger over to Hedera, whatever the case may be, it can transition. The only reason why it is built on Ethereum is because at the current moment in time, Ethereum is the most utilized network in crypto. It is the most popular one, and it just made sense for them to be a part of that. Now, let's actually talk about QNT's use case ability. And also, first off, let's actually talk about how scarce it is. So one, it is 33% less in supply than Bitcoin. There will only ever be 14.6 million QNT tokens. That's right, 14.6 million QNT tokens. Now, at the moment in time that I am recording this video, QNT is worth about almost $7 billion in market cap, fully diluted about $2 billion in fully diluted market cap. Now, in my opinion, I think that $2 billion is still very undervalued for what Quant is actually doing. Now, you might be wondering to yourself, well, what the heck is he talking about? What is Quant doing? Well, for the most part, in crypto, we do have interoperability tokens. The number one that we've talked about in the past is Cosmos, aka Atom. Now, the big problem here is that a lot of people actually compare Cosmos and Atom and also Chainlink to Quant. Now, these tokens do have a few things in common. For example, the biggest one that they have in common is blockchain interoperability. Yes, all three of these do provide blockchain interoperability: Chainlink, Cosmos, and Quant. But what the other two don't have that Quant has is the API gateway to the legacy systems. What does that mean? It means that the legacy systems could essentially be plug and played into the crypto world. A bridge could be facilitated between, we'll say, Swift and crypto in 3 lines of code that they don't even touch, by the way. It's instantly plug and played, and that gateway is formulated. That's huge, especially right now in this market where 99% of people are overlooking Quant, especially even the higher ups like Swift, like the IMF, BIS, etc. A lot of these major players actually don't know what Quant is doing, which is technically a good thing for me and you, because again, we get to buy QNT at some pretty low prices. Now, with that in mind, interoperability is 100% key for crypto success. I've said this in the past time and time again. Interoperability is the biggest key and the biggest barrier to success around crypto. And you could argue that regulations also play a vital role as well. I would say like it's hand in hand in regards to regulations, interoperability as well. And then from there, you really kind of look at, okay, who's going to adopt what DLT, etc., whatever. But nonetheless, let's actually talk about QNT as a token, right? Because we already know the use case ability here, which we can kind of go in depth on a little bit more. But let's talk about the QNT token itself. Because again, remember, what's providing the interoperability is Overledger. Overledger is the network built within the system. It's technically an operating system, which we've always talked about in the past as well, that's providing this sort of use case ability. But QNT as a utility token provides quite a bit of value. There was this diagram that was made quite a bit of, it was, I want to say it's 2 years old now, I think that this diagram is, but it still holds fairly strong today. So First off, the licenses. A lot of people are actually underwriting what these licenses and these fees accumulated will essentially be worth. Remember, if Quant is going to succeed in their mission, which it looks like they are, especially with a lot of their partnerships, their expansions that have happened recently, and with what we have found in regards to information, it looks like they have a high probability of becoming a major giant within the space. With that being said, QNT as a token is going to be eaten up in regards to its supply, which is 33% less, 33% less scarce than Bitcoin. Sorry. So let's actually talk about why it's going to be so scarce and why the token itself is going to get eaten up by these massive giants. So most of the partnerships that Quant has right now are, I shouldn't say underwhelming, but they are still pretty high prestigious names like Oracle, like LAC Chain, and also there's a ton of other ones that we haven't really talked about on this channel, but we have kind of gone over and skimmed through. Now with that, we look at these licenses and we look at these fees. So the enterprise license is a QNT token, well, multiple tokens, must be provided to Quant Network in exchange for an annual license. The price of the access will be fixed in fiat, and the number of tokens needed will vary depending on the price of QNT. Enterprise license fees will be determined on the basis of the number of users, number of employees, and application type, volume of transactions. Now, note the volume of transactions, the number of users, the number of employees, and the application type. Now, when we are talking about financial grade use case ability, that is going to be plug and played into crypto, which we know that CBDCs are coming. We know that these high prestigious names that are in the financial grade sector are moving in on crypto rapidly. They are going to need that bridge between them. So I could see a lot of those major names jumping on board with Quant. Now, with that in mind, we'll just take Swift for an example, which has 11,000 plus financial institutions tied to it, and they are doing $5 trillion a day in volume. Now, if we talk about that, how much do you think the license fee would be for that? It would have to be very high. This is why we focus on these major applications. Quant isn't going after NFTs, the gaming scene, and those smaller use cases. They're going after the big players because they understand that the big players are crucial in regards to the upside potential of not only Quant, but also crypto. And we do see developer licenses as well, because there's going to be a ton of devs building on Quant as well. Developers will be able to obtain an annual license to develop applications on Overledger through the purchase of QNT tokens equivalent to a fixed fiat amount. QNT licenses are locked for 12 months as well. So there goes quite a bit of QNT tokens gone just from the enterprise grade area and the developer license area. But now we have platform fees. In addition to the license fees, a platform fee calculated as a percentage of the license fee in QNT will be payable by all users and developers. Again, more fees. Identity and account, a minimum QNT holding amount, is put in place for every participant of the Overledger ecosystem. Even more QNT locked away. Transaction processing as well. QNT tokens are used to validate, sign, and encrypt every transaction that flows through Overledger. Again, we talk about how many transactions could essentially flow through a lot of blockchain technology. Why does that matter? Well, again, if Quant is going to be, or I should say Overledger is going to be the connector to the legacy systems through crypto, then the transactional flow is going to be substantial. Meaning, when we talk about that, there's going to be a ton of QNT tokens moving in value constantly during a utility grade area run, which is very substantial for the value of QNT. Then application users as well, they will need to hold QNT tokens to be able to run multi-chain applications, maps. Again, there goes even more. And by the way, the license key will expire annually and must be renewed with more QNT tokens. Users will need to deposit an amount of QNT that will be used to pay fees to gateways for processing. Users also deposit QNT tokens to cover the cost of any penalties for raising incorrect disputes. There is so much happening here in regards to QNT tokens being utilized, locked up, and ultimately paid. Gateways and also staking. Even more lockups here. And also you'll need to pay an annual fee fixed in fiat to be paid in QNT tokens to utilize this mechanism. Gateways earn QNT for transaction processing as well, so you're going to also earn annual income here. Another incredible opportunity here to not only lock away your QNT tokens, but also earn on those QNT tokens. And then, of course, you have your investment and store of value, which again is all leading to the ultimate area of a supply shock, locking up QNT, getting rid of a lot of that supply. Remember, that supply is very minimal when you're talking about 14.6 million tokens. Now, with all of this in mind, you might be wondering, okay, well, how large could this actually be? Well, when we look at Quant and the Overledger operating system, here you guys have the Overledger operating system. This is going to connect every single network to one massive Overledger network. Now, within this Overledger network, all of these major Web 2 companies have full-on exposure to the Web 3 side of crypto, which is very substantial with the massive move happening digitally. We do see Overledger Network is a scalable P2P network with layer 2 payment channels, enterprise and institutional grade multi-chain oracles, connect any network to any network at scale without overhead or limits, treaty contracts, deploy, query, and execute multi-chain smart contracts, create applications that deploy and connect across multiple blockchains. So ultimately, to really kind of sum all of this up, you're going to connect anything, and I mean anything out there, to crypto through Overledger. Overledger as an operating system is the bridge to all. It is any-to-any network interoperable, which is going to be huge for the legacy system to be fully connected into crypto. This is going to be the plug-and-play aspect that changes everything around crypto. So think about the upside value of this. This is far bigger than what Bitcoin ever was perceived to become. I've always shared this with you. And when we go and look at Overledger over here as well, an enterprise operating system that interconnects blockchains, enterprise platforms, and networks. Connect any network to any network without overhead or limits. This is huge because you look at the domino effect of all the enterprise permission blockchains, the public permissionless blockchains, and then the other blockchains here. Notice how all of them line up to some of the most utilized ones out there. Hyperledger, Corda, JPM Quorum, Ethereum, Ripple, Bitcoin, Stellar, every single blockchain-based network or crypto network. This is how large this is actually going to be. Now, with that being said, let's actually talk about the usability. Let's talk about what's instated right now around Quant. So we go over here to the UK government website, and we see digital marketplace supplier Quant Network is a technology provider enabling trusted digital interaction, helping create a secure digital future to the benefit of enterprises, regulators, governments, and individuals. Recognized for having solved interoperability through the creation of the world's first blockchain operating system, Overledger. Then over here, we have the Overledger SaaS DLT blockchain operating system. It even mentions how this is going to basically connect all of the DLTs to many DLTs and other API-based systems. It exposes their combined functionality through a single API and allows coordinated transactions and business processes to happen across all the connected DLTs and API-based systems. This is absolutely huge when you look at the features and the benefits here. Start using blockchain with just 3 lines of code. Have choice, interoperability, flexibility, and not be locked in. Avoid buying additional infrastructure. Comply to security and regulation. Use existing technical skills and resources. Start in less than 8 minutes. This is a massive game changer. And it's already being adopted at the government level. This is how large this actually is. And by the way, we do see here, we have dedicated infrastructure for clients, which is solely used by the client. This is scaling, by the way. This is through internet scalability. All scaling is done using horizontal and vertical scaling. This is absolutely huge. It scales as needed based on the usage and load. So this is why I say that this is not only future-proof, but it has essentially solved the biggest problem that plagues not only crypto, but the legacy systems as well. Now, not only is it a part of the entire UK government, but we also go over here and look at the ecosystem. LAC Chain, Oracle, MEXC. These are just a few of the major names, and you might be wondering, well, who cares about these names, right? Well, MEXC is an absolute massive European giant. 570 plus connected banks, up to 1,000 plus already, I think. LAC Chain, 12 plus, giants I think it's a full-on continent being connected through Quant. Huge. And then Oracle, of course, you guys know Oracle, a massive cloud-based company. All of these players, hand in hand, will provide immense amounts of value to Quant. And Quant will also provide immense amount of value to all of them because it allows them to live in a connected world within crypto. And you look at all of the major use case abilities here: insurance, compliance, capital markets, supply chain and trade finance, payments, digital currencies. All of these are huge areas of focus. Some of these are trillion-dollar plus markets. Cross-border payments, $156 trillion plus market. The end goal here for me on Quant is just limitless. I've always said that the market cap of Quant will essentially morph into $1 trillion, at least in my opinion. Is it guaranteed to? No, but I will say, in my opinion, if this doesn't hit a $1 trillion market cap, then there better be something out there that is way better than Quant. And in my opinion, I don't believe that that is going to happen because this technology is not only patented, but Gilbert Verdian, who is the CEO of Quant, has made the TC307 standard. And you might be wondering, what the heck is that? That has already 50 plus countries signed up on it, and it is the DLT and crypto standard for adoption of DLT and crypto-based systems. That is how large of a company Quant is, and how incredible the names behind what Quant is are. This is why I believe that QNT is going to be an absolute giant going forward. And with that being said, I hope that you guys learned something. If you did, definitely hit that like button, subscribe, to notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, it's been Nick. Peace out, guys.